a full moon in Aquarius. Expect the unexpected. Hello, I'm Eliane Nicole, your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video I'm going to talk about the very shocking, surprising full moon in Aquarius, Monday, August 19th at 11:26 a.m. Pacific time, so adjust for your time zone accordingly. And I want to start by saying, if you're watching this on Instagram, I'm only going to post the first 5 minutes of the video here. The entire video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane Nicole. So I encourage you to find me on YouTube. Please subscribe, and you can watch the entire interpretation of the full moon of Aquarius video there. But if you've been following my astrology, you know that we've been building up to this Aquarius full moon moment. I've been posting lots of smaller videos to lead up to it, breaking down the astrology in pieces, because this full moon is so complex, it's so multi-layered, it's so nuanced. There's so much going on all at once on August 19th. It definitely promises to be a very busy, impactful time in our lives. And full moons always bring heightened emotion. They always bring illumination and or culmination. You can ask anyone who works with the public, like police officers or emergency room workers, EMTs, school teachers. These are days where the energy is elevated just in general around people. The moon controls the tides of the ocean, the very vast ocean, and we're comprised as humans mostly of water, and so it affects the tides of our emotions and our moods as well. And so, full moons tend to be dynamic, but usually, they happen every month, so they aren't watershed astrological events. However, this full moon is forming a T-square with Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of disruptions, shakeups, plot twists, rebellions. And so this is bringing a very noticeable, kind of unexpected, surprising energy to this full moon on August 19th. And for America, it's even more significant and impactful, because in America's chart from July 4th, 1776, America's moon is in Aquarius. America's moon is 27 degrees Aquarius, the same exact degree of the full moon of Aquarius that's happening on August 19th. So this looks like it is a major shakeup moment for America that will make global headlines. Now, the way any planetary transit manifests for the public or for the collective is always going to be experienced personally from person to person in different ways, depending on their own unique astrological coding. That's why it's always good to have an understanding of your personal astrology to know how these varying aspects might affect you. Like, it could be pleasant, wonderful surprises, the best kind of disruption in life for some people, and it can be a more challenging surprise or disruption for others. Again, that depends on your own personal astrology. So please contact me for a reading. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I would love to read for you. And we can look at how this Aquarius full moon is moving through your chart. But in general, the Leo sun represents leadership, and the Aquarius moon represents the populace, the people. And they're at a 180 degree directly opposing each other. So there's a tension between the leadership and the people that is being brought about by a hard aspect to both from Uranus, the disruptor, the plot twist, the shakeup. This is earthquake energy, literally or metaphorically. This is explosive energy, literally or metaphorically. This is Uranus has to do with power outages. Uranus has to do with lightning striking and changing everything out of nowhere, sudden, unexpected change. And so that's what is happening on the world stage August 19th, according to the planets. Now, in our personal lives, it can also bring sudden, unexpected change. But it's more likely to affect you personally if you have a planet at 27 degrees of any of the fixed signs, meaning Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, or Scorpio. And it can come in a very challenging way if you have a planet at 27 degrees of any of those signs. If you have a planet of 27 degrees Libra or Aquarius, it can be a really great surprise. It can be shocking, but in the best way possible. It can be disruptive to your life in the best way possible. And so again, you need to know your own astrological coding to know how it'll affect you personally. But for America, it definitely looks like a huge shakeup around the leadership and the people brought about by very unexpected events. It has very revolutionary energy and very, just earthquakey energy, really. What ups the ante of this full moon is that there's also a mutable T-Square that's in the mix, and that's involving the signs of Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces. And it's Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Pisces, and Venus in Virgo. And Saturn and Venus are in direct opposition on the Virgo-Pisces axis, which is the axis of health. It's the axis of, physical health versus emotional health or spiritual health. It's the axis of the details versus the big picture in opposition to each other. It's the axis of service and sacrifice. So there's a tension in those Virgo-Pisces areas between Saturn, the great disciplinarian, and Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. They are in tension with each other, and Venus is in her detriment in Virgo, so she's debilitated. And then Jupiter is forming a T-square to both. Jupiter is the great benefic, so there is a crisis of faith here, and there is a proliferation of information and details that need to be organized and streamlined. And so I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but those are the broad strokes of what that T-square is bringing about. The bottom line of the mutable T-square is that everything is in flux. Everything is changing. It requires a great deal of adaptability and flexibility, a pivot. The ground underneath our feet is uncertain. Nothing is staying the same. It's all in flux. And so, and the Jupiter-Saturn square in particular, it's being highlighted during this full moon. Our awareness is being brought to it in a major way during this full moon. And it has to do with structural shifts, significant structural shifts that need to take place in some area of our lives. And this is shifts that we're going to be working through, implementing all the way through June of 2025. Another great reason to get a reading right now, because you can see where the Pisces energy and the Gemini energy are in your chart that are going to be needing to implement these structural shifts. And the storyline really carries all the way through until November, when we finally get the reward, and it finally kind of comes into harmony. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. It's challenging to implement these shifts because we are used to things being one way and now they have to change. However, the mutable signs are, they are wired that way. They are used to having to switch gears and shape shift and to adapt. And so the mutable T-square in that sense is not, I don't think, quite as intense or hard to integrate as the fixed T-square created by Uranus and the moon and the sun, because that tends to be about areas of our life that have been the same for so long and that we don't want to ever change. That change is coming harder. But the fact that both T-squares are happening together under this full moon is part of what makes it so very dynamic. And I've been doing shorter videos since the Leo new moon, trying to break it into pieces because I knew it would be too much to try and unpack under the full moon video, and I didn't want to just like be blah with too much information here. I wanted to keep this more short and sweet about just like kind of the surprising, shocking nature and the need to adapt. But I definitely encourage you to watch my new Moon of Leo video. There's a lot of valuable astrological information there where I talked about this whole lunar cycle that we're still in that culminates with this full moon tomorrow. And also the Mercury retrograde video gives a lot of valuable astrological information. I did two, a part 1 and a part 2, that talks a lot about what's going on with this full moon if you want more details. And also I did a Mars conjunct Jupiter and Gemini video, which gives a lot of valuable information about what's going on with this full moon leading up to it and the energies at work. And then finally, just a couple days ago, I did a Mars square Jupiter video that's giving a lot of valuable information. So many different planetary aspects are in play. So many planets are in play. These can be different parts of our psychology. These can be different parts of our body. These can be different relationships in our life. These can be different situations we're dealing with. But it's a complex time that is bringing together very many different areas of our life. It's also bringing many cycles of our life of varying lengths into one converging moment, like shorter cycles that just have to do with the past couple weeks and the past month, but longer cycles that have to do with the past 2.5 years, the past 4 years, in some cases the past 28 years. But all of these cycles are coming together and converging under this full moon of Aquarius. And I believe that there are so many gifts here as well. I don't want it to just sound scary. It's a time for change, and I think that we need to embrace it and be excited about it and not hold on to the way things have always been. I think that we need to, one of Aquarius's best qualities is being able to zoom out and look at things from a bird's eye view and not take everything so personally. So that's going to be a real strength. And again, the Gemini and the Pisces and the Virgo energy, they're good at adapting. They're good at pivoting. They're good at, seeing if something's not working, let's try this instead. That's going to be a huge strength during whatever comes of this full moon in Aquarius. Yeah, I guess that's what I'll say for now. Contact me for a reading. I would love to read for you. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world. You get the most out of astrology in one-on-one readings with an astrologer. Astrology is a great tool for self-awareness and self-discovery and for understanding our karma and how to navigate and co-create with the cosmic energies at work. It's a great tool for understanding our place within the whole. And yeah, I would love to read for you. So if you're watching this on YouTube, well, by now you have to be watching on YouTube because I'm not posting this whole thing on Instagram. Then my email will be down below in the notes of how to email me and get on the calendar for a reading. And please give me your feedback. I would love your feedback on how I can make these readings better for you. I'm doing this for you. Like, Do I need to simplify it more? Do I need to make them shorter? Are there more topics that you want to know more about? Please let me know. Please interact. Please help me serve you with what I love to do, which is share astrology. So, yeah, thank you for joining me. Enjoy the Aquarius full moon. Yes, it's bringing about changes and shakeups and disruptions, but it can be a very exciting time. So I appreciate you being here with me, and happy full moon in Aquarius.